Welcome, one and all, to PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and tonight we're, of course, going to be talking about Will Smith versus Chris Rock. We're also going to be talking about Ezra Miller getting arrested. We are also going to be talking about Darth Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a few other stories of interest as well. So, let's go ahead and get underway with the first story. And this is some wrestling news, and it's out of All Elite Wrestling. It says Tony Khan gives an update on an AEW streaming service deal. And this comes from comicbook.com. And I will go ahead and post the link into the chat for anyone who is interested in reading this article along with me. I hope you're all doing well this evening. So there's the article for all of you. And now let's go ahead and get underway. This article is by Connor Casey. It was posted on yesterday. And it goes on to say the following. It says AEW president Tony Khan was a guest on Strong Style Live recently and gave an update on an AEW possibly partnering with a streaming service. Khan announced back at the start of the month that he had purchased Ring of Honor, which included the promotion's entire tape library dating all the way back to 2022. 2002. My bad. And speaking of Ring of Honor, they do have a pay-per-view on Friday. It's their first pay-per-view under Tony Khan's management, AEW's management. So, they have a few matches lined up. I might take a look at it. I might not. But the article continues by saying the press release that accompanied Khan's announcement mentioned that he was already looking for a way to get the library available for fans. I will immediately begin exploring opportunities to make ROH's video library available to fans who will have the opportunity to witness the beginnings of the careers of some of AEW's biggest stars, Khan said in the release. He said in the interview that he's been having complex conversations with Warner Media regarding the tape library. AEW currently has a broadcasting deal with Warner Media that has AEW Dynamite on TBS and AEW Rampage on TNT. As a matter of fact, as of right now, Dynamite is currently airing on TBS. Goes on to say, I don't have an update on where the content will live exactly yet, but I know that eventually we'll get it figured out, Khan said. We're talking to Warner Media all the time, and these are very complex and important conversations to have. But I think everybody's aligned and wants to do the same thing, which is make the fans happy and give the fans access to the great wrestling that they want to watch. ROH's first show under Khan's leadership will take place this Friday with Supercard of Honor in Dallas. Of course, like most wrestling promotions, whether it's Ring of Honor or TNA Impact or even the Independents, because this weekend is WrestleMania 38, everybody centers their wrestling programs around WrestleMania because that is the big event. You'll see WrestleCon where you can meet past and current superstars who aren't under contract by WWE. And I had an opportunity to go to a WrestleCon back in 2013, but I declined. Instead, I went and saw G.I. Joe, the second one, and kind of wish I'd gone to WrestleCon. But anyways, it says that Supercard of Honor will take place this Friday. Khan talks about his plans for the show on the Busted Open Radio last week, which is a wrestling podcast for anyone who's not familiar with them. He went on to say, it's not normally something I would do. It's not normally something AEW would do, Khan said. It's not something AEW would ever do. We're not doing it. And the event had been scheduled in advance by Ring of Honor, and the tickets had been sold. I felt the right thing to do would be do right by the fans and have the show and make it the best show I possibly could. Even though it's unusual for us to go into enemy territory and run a show that weekend, it's normally something associated with smaller wrestling companies and something I didn't want to do. Since it was booked and fans are committed to it, I'm going to go in 100% and make it the best show I possibly can. All right. So there we have it in this story where Tony Khan, the head honcho at All Elite Wrestling, is talking to Warner Media about putting Ring of Honor content somewhere in a streaming service provided by Warner Media. So we shall see what excuse me, what happens with that. And hopefully Tony Khan is able to give the fans what they want, which is the Ring of Honor content that's already on there. But you know, I kind of feel, and go ahead and disagree with me, but I kind of feel that Tony Khan should do what Vince McMahon never did because he couldn't get a TV deal in place and a few other factors, but he should find a way to keep Ring of Honor going as a separate promotion, even if it's, their own development promotion like WWE does with NXT. I don't know. That's completely up to Tony Khan. And, not to say that AEW is a better product than WWE. They still have their issues, but at least they're trying. So, continuing with the wrestling news, let me go ahead and share this next story with y'all. And this article comes from IGN. It was actually posted on the 25th, which was last Friday, and it's by Ryan Dinsdale, and it says WWE legend Triple H announces his retirement. The game is hanging up the wrestling boots. WWE legend Triple H has announced his retirement from in-ring wrestling. Speaking to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN's First Take and shared in a tweet from the official WWE account, Triple H said his time in the ring was over. The 14-time world champion teased the retirement earlier today on his own Twitter account, saying he would be delivering an update on his health and future in the interview. And there's tweet, and I will go ahead and post the link. And there we go. All right, so the article continues. He told Smith, as far as in ring, which I get asked a lot, I'm done. I won't ever wrestle again. First of all, I have a defibrillator in my chest. It's probably not a good idea for me to get zapped on live TV. Triple H is considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, debuting in 1990 and gaining fame as a villain before co-founding the D-Generation X wrestling stable alongside Shawn Michaels, Chyna, and Rick Rude. In addition to the 14 world titles, Triple H is also a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time Tag Team Champion, 2-time Unified WWE Tag Team Champion, and 2-time European Champion. He remains the Chief Operating Officer for WWE as a whole. So, the Cerebral Assassin, the game, is no longer going to be an in-ring performer. He is hanging it up after all these years. And, he's still going to be a big part of WWE regardless of whether he was in the ring, out of the ring, especially being in their front office. And he and Stephanie, they have their own family, and Vince is still there. So the thing about Vince is, who knows if he'll ever step down as the CEO of WWE. I don't see it happening, but if anybody were to take over, control the WWE, the whole shebang, you give it to Triple H, especially what he did for NXT in the early days of the program. NXT was actually better than Raw, better than SmackDown. And now there's NXT 2.0, and Vince has some say in that. Where before, Triple H was the only one that had any say in NXT. And it was a good product for a while, but it was short lived. So, what do you think about Triple H retiring? Are you surprised about his retirement? Are you happy for him? And in one respect, that he won't be in the ring as a consistent performer. Not that he was. After all, he was doing his duties in the office related to, talent and a few other things. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear what you all have to say. So let's go ahead and move on to another WWE related story. And for anyone who's curious, yes, I am a Paul Heyman guy. Just a little throwback to CM Punk's promo in July of 2011 up at the Hampton Coliseum. Actually, no, it wasn't Hampton Coliseum. It was before Money in the Bank that year. All right, so this story comes from comicbook.com, and it's by Connor Casey. It was posted just yesterday, and it says Paul Heyman confirms his future with the WWE. And it says Paul Heyman has been back with WWE ever since he returned to be Brock Lesnar's advocate back in 2012. Since then, he's worked with a number of wrestlers both on screen and behind the scenes, and even oversaw Raw's creative direction as its executive director from 2019 to 2020. He's currently working as the special counsel for the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and during an interview with the sports media with Richard Deitch podcast, he confirmed he quietly signed a long-term contract last year. It was public knowledge that my contract came up last year, and I kept it very close to the vest because I'm not one of those people that A, want to negotiate in public, and B, I'm reading an awful lot lately about who signed for how long and how much, and I never want that to be me, Heyman said. This much I will say. I re-signed with WWE last year. It was a long-term agreement. They created a situation where I would have been a fool not to take them up on their offer. I'm locked in for a while. This has been the case for a long time for me because I do outside projects just because I like to multitask, and I'm very ADD and I can't concentrate on one thing ever in my life. I have carve outs to allow me to do other projects, which is also to WWE's benefit because I'm locked into WWE as well. I'm always going to be, oh, that WWE guy is doing this outside project. I would never do anything that would betray my deal with WWE because they went out of their way to ensure that I was here, I'm happy, I'm locked in, and we're mutually satisfied with each other's contributions. And I will go ahead and post this article in the chat for anyone who would like to read it, either now or later. And it goes on to say, along with Reigns and Lesnar, Heyman has worked with CM Punk, Cesaro, Curtis Axel, Ryback during his current run. He joked in the interview that he'd love to pull a Freddie Blassie and still be working in his 80s. WrestleMania 38 will see Reigns and Lesnar clash in the main event of the second night in a winner take all unification match for both the Universal and WWE championships. Stay tuned for live coverage of the entire weekend. And speaking of a wrestling show, on April 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will hold a live panel where we talk about the past, present, and future of professional wrestling. And as far as the past is concerned, it's all depends on when the panelists started watching professional wrestling. That would be their past. If they're still watching it, that's their present. And as far as the future, we're all going to be speculating on where the future of the wrestling industry is going to be, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So I hope you all, tune in for that. And even if you're not a wrestling fan, I can pretty much say that you're going to get some very diverse opinions when it comes to wrestling, especially as far as when each and every one of us have started watching wrestling and started our fandom with wrestling. So, you're going to get different responses, maybe some of the same or similar responses, but it's going to be a fun night. And I hope that you'll have some of the time to tune in and, at least listen to what we have to say. So before we get to our next story, let me just pull it up here. And then we will talk about it. And here is our next story. It's from Bounding in the Comics, and it's in relation to what happened during the Oscars Sunday night between Will Smith and Chris Rock. So there's a link to that article. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and cancel that. So this article was posted Sunday night. Actually, no, Tuesday night. And it says Will Smith slaps Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars over joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth. This is by Spencer Bacall. And it goes on to say, in the first instance of on-stage violence to ever occur in the history of the Oscars, newly crowned Best Actor winner Will Smith has physically assaulted comedian Chris Rock at the 2022 ceremony over a joke regarding the bald appearance of the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. And it goes on to say, taking the stage to present the award for Best Documentary, Chris Rock, as most on-stage personalities do, attempted to work the crowd by giving lighthearted ribbings to some of the attendees. Catching a glimpse of Pinkett Smith, Rock commented on the actress' bald appearance, a side effect of her ongoing battle with alopecia, an autoimmune disorder that features hair loss as a side effect, and compared her to Demi Moore's shaven head look in 1997's G.I. Jane. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2. Can't wait to see it, said Rock. Realizing the joke failed to land, he self-deprecatingly added, that was a nice one. As Pinkett Smith rolled her eyes in response to Rock's joke, Smith stood up from his seat, walked up to the stage, and proceeded to deliver a powerful slap to the left side of the comedian's face. And we will be taking a look at this after I read the article. I do have my opinion on it. And The article continues by quoting Rock by saying, "Oh, wow, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me." Returning to his seat, Smith in turn yelled, "Leave my wife's name out of your effing mouth." And then goes on to continue quoting Chris Rock by saying, "Wow, dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke," explained a shocked Rock in return, drawing another, albeit more aggressive, refrain of "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth" from Smith. "I'm going to, okay," replied Rock, still stunned, before praising that was the greatest night in the history of television. As Smith was consoled backstage by Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry, Rock was then followed as a presenter by Sean Puff Daddy Combs, who reacted to the moment. "I did not know that this year was going to be the most exciting Oscars ever." "Okay, Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family at the gold party," he asserted. "But right now, we're moving on with love. Everybody, make some noise." To add to the spectacle, Smith, as mentioned above, later won Best Actor for his performance as Richard Williams, the father of professional tennis champions Serena and Venus Williams, in the biopic King Richard. Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. The actor began his acceptance speech and seemingly alluding to the altercation. "In this time of my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. Making this film, I got to protect Anju and Ellis, who is the most strongest, most delicate people I ever met," he continued. "I got to protect Sanai and Debbie, the two actresses who play Venus and Serena. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. I know to do what we do. You got to be able to take abuse," Smith said, attempting to both hold back and wipe away tears. "You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you in this business. You got to be able to have people disrespecting you, and you got to smile and you got to pretend like it's okay." Finally, turning to address his assault of Rock, Smith told the audience, "I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine a lot on all people and the entire cast and crew of King Richard and Venus and Serena and the entire Williams family. Art imitates life," he concluded. "I look like the crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams, but love will make you do crazy things." All right, so now we are going to take a look at that incident, and I'll give you my honest thoughts. So let me just pull it up here, and all right. So I'm not going to play any of the audio from it. All right. So let's go ahead and go back. And there we see Smith approaching Rock, and then he swings at him and slaps him. Now, if I can, no, I can't on here. So let's go back one more time, and I will just do it this way to slow it down. So you see Rock leaning in, and then you see Smith going to slap him. And yes, it is very quick. But Rock is barely phased by it. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. At first glance, I thought this was staged. And even now, I'm thinking, is it staged? Only because even though you can't really tell all that well because of how quickly it is, Smith's hand, you know, comes across, but it just, I don't know. It just seems like a publicity stunt to me to get more eyes on the Oscars. And don't tell me that Hollywood wouldn't do something like that. Hollywood very well would do something like that to get people to watch the Oscars. I don't know. What do you all think? Do you think it was staged? Do you think it was real? And I do want to say hello to Tim's Talk. How are you doing, Tim? Good to see you tonight. What do you think about it, Tim? Do you think? Let me go ahead and share the screen again. I mean, I'll play it at full speed first. There it was at full speed. And now I will just play it slowly. Do you think it was staged or do you think it's real? Because, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this was staged because they're trying to get views on the Oscars. And I will also admit that the wrestling fan in me immediately thought it was staged. Because, watching wrestling, you see stuff like that. And you see it where, you know, a wrestler gets hit and they react the same way Rock reacted. And, then they're able to just stand there and look at the person that did it. And, whether it's starting a feud or it's part of a feud in the storyline, you see it. And again, this is Hollywood. So, Hollywood is going to do what they can to try to fool people. So, do you all think it was real or do you think it was staged, pre planned? That Smith and Rock knew about it and Smith and Rock were ready to participate because they are trying to get people's eyes onto the awards. I don't know. Like I said, the wrestling fan in me thinks it's staged, but I really don't know. And I had already decided, even after it happened, I wasn't going to make a video on it because I wanted to save it for tonight's Pop Talk and get everybody's opinion. So let me know what you all think. If you think it was real, put a 1 in the chat. If you think it was staged, put a 2 in the chat. Because everybody has their own points of view on it. And you just never know what other people are thinking. So, with that being said, while I'm waiting for 1s and 2s in the chat, I will go ahead and move on to the next story that I want to talk about tonight. And let me just share the screen here. And here we go. And this was just announced a few hours ago, and I got this article from the Associated Press. And the article says Bruce Willis, diagnosed with aphasia, steps away from acting. And this is by Jack Coyle. The article goes on to say Bruce Willis is stepping away from acting after a diagnosis with aphasia, a condition that causes loss of the ability to understand or express speech, his family said Wednesday. In a statement posted on Willis' Instagram page, the 67-year-old actor's family announced that Willis was recently diagnosed with aphasia and that it is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. Read the statement signed by Willis's wife, Emma Hemming Willis, his ex-wife, Demi Moore, and his 5 children, Rummer, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn. We're moving through this as a strong family unit and wanted to bring his fans in because we know how much he means to you as you do to him. They said, as Bruce always says, live it up, and together we plan to do just that. And the article goes on to say there are many potential causes of aphasia. And before I continue, let me just post the article in the chat. There we go. It often occurs after a stroke or head injury, but can also develop gradually due to a slow growing brain tumor or disease that causes degenerative damage. Like Alzheimer's disease, it's treated primarily with speech therapy and learning nonverbal means of communication. Willis' family didn't divulge what caused the aphasia. Representatives for the actor declined to comment. The news about Willis, one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, immediately spread online as fans reacted. His 4-decade career has amassed more than $5 billion in the box office worldwide. Willis had been working steadily and frequently, renowned for films like Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, and The Sixth Sense. Willis has in recent years turned out straight-to-video thrillers. Last year, he starred in a staggering 8 films. Most came and went quietly, including titles like Cosmic Sin, Out of Death, and Deadlock. Most recently, Willis starred in February's Gasoline Alley and A Day to Die, released in early March. Willis has already shot at least 6 more films due out in 2022 and 23, including Die Like Lovers, Corrective Measures, and The Wrong Place. And hello to the lovely Sherry. How are you doing this evening? Okay, so that looks like it's the end of that article. So, what do you all think? Are you sad to see Bruce Willis having to step away due to a medical condition? And do you wish him well? I know I do. You don't want to see anybody lose their ability to communicate, especially in his case, where communicating is how he did his living by reciting one line after another. Yeah, I mean it's very sad, it's very unfortunate, and as far as the cause, we could all speculate, but only his doctors know and only he knows. So, it's sad, really. Whether you loved him or you hate him, it's sad to see him have to step away because of this condition. And you just have to, wish him the best, him and his family the best. Now, like the article said, he still has movies coming out the rest of this year and next year, but still, it's sad. And Sherry says it's sad to see him retire. Yeah, it is. I mean, whether you agree with me or not, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. And, and honestly, I never get tired of watching it. I enjoy the Die Hard movies. Yeah, yeah, it is. And, he could have suffered that brain damage working on a set. You never know. You never know where the injury occurred. You always hear about, you know, athletes in the NFL and, the concussions that they suffer while playing the game and the loss of memory. I mean, I think about the late Junior Seau taking his own life. And some people thought it was related to concussion syndromes and hello Cash, how you doing tonight, brother? But yeah, it, it honestly it's sad. And there are movies that he's done that I really do like. I mean, granted, I'll admit it right here, right now. Most of them are the Die Hard movies. Although there was a movie that came out, I want to say, I think it was 2004, 2005, where he was this security agent and this house was being robbed and he had to rescue his own family that was inside this house. It was called Hostage. That was a good movie. In my opinion, that was a very good movie. All right, so let's continue on and move on to our next story. And before I do, I do want to get your all opinion on the Chris Rock and Will Smith situation. Yes, I've already talked about that story tonight, but for those of you just coming in, I want your opinion. One, do you think it was real? Two, do you think it was staged? As I said when I read the article and I was showing the video, the wrestling fan of me couldn't help but think it was staged. That's immediately where my mind went. So let me know and I will read your comments. Meanwhile, I will go ahead and move on to the next story I wanted to talk about tonight. And this comes from Superhero Hype. And it says Morbius director drops some major multiverse spoilers. And this is by Luke Thompson. And it was actually posted on Saturday. And before I get too far ahead of myself, I am going to go ahead and post the link in the chat so you all can read along if you wish. It says, warning, this article features multiverse spoilers for Morbius and potential future Sony Spider-Villain films. Morbius hasn't even hit theaters yet in the US, but director Daniel Espinosa is already discussing what could come next. Since the first trailer, fans have known that Michael Keaton appears in the film as the villain Adrian Toomes, but Loki muddled the waters after that. Could he just be a variant? Dropping some multiverse spoilers in an interview with Cineblend, Espinosa clarified he is the very same guy we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. At the end of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Spider-Man No Way Home, and in No Way Home itself, it is clearly established that it is possible for characters to transfer from one multiverse to another, he says. The events of No Way Home had the effect of transferring Venom and Vulture and maybe others back and forth between the MCU and the Venom universe. Goes on to say, and just to be clear, in case the last trailer didn't make it blatant enough, he adds Morbius lives in the same universe as Venom, but with Toomes crossing over, a potential Sinister Six film could feature bad guys from both franchises. It gets interesting when Espinosa addresses whether or not that universe has a Spider-Man. The answer is yes, it does. But as to which actor plays him, it's my understanding that the audiences will discover the answer soon. Maybe in Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, we'll have to wait and see which Spidey do you think should live in Sony's villain verse. Let us know in the comments. Well, that's what I want to know from all of you. Which Spider-Man would you want to see? Are you going to see Morbius? And are you excited about the multiverse aspect, or do you think it's an aspect of storytelling that weakens the overall story? Let me know in the comments below. So, continuing with the Marvel news, this also comes from Superhero Hype. There is news that Marvel has announced a Spider-Man 60th anniversary book. And the article is by, before I get too far, Blair Marnell. It was posted on Tuesday. It says, in 1962, Stan Lee and artist Steve Ditko created Peter Parker and his alter ego Spider-Man in Amazing Fantasy number 15, and later this year Marvel is going to celebrate that milestone with an official Spider-Man 60th anniversary book. Via Marvel.com, Marvel Comics and Quattro will publish Spider-Man: A History and Celebration of the Web Slinger Decade by Decade. Comic scribe Peter David and Robert Greenberg wrote a previous iteration of this book 10 years ago. Their contributions remain in the new edition, which features updated content by Matthew K. Manning. Marvel also released the cover for the book, which looks like it features John Romita Sr.'s take on the roll call. Marvel also released the official description for the book. From the comic page to the big screen and beyond, Spider-Man has thrilled fans for generations. Since swinging onto the scene in 1961, the world's most famous wall crawler has captivated the world, starring in millions of comics, over 20 different films and animated series, numerous blockbuster video games, and one Broadway show, as well as appearance in countless other mediums. In celebration of his illustrious and expansive history, Spider-Man: A History and Celebration of the Web Slinger Decade by Decade is a comprehensive collection of exciting art and expert commentary that brings Spidey's backstory out of the archive and into the arms of fans worldwide. By a decade, you will relive the origin and adaptations of Spider-Man along with his friends and enemies through comic books, films, TVs, shows, toys, and more. Spark your memory with Remember When moments, the Spider Mobile, anyone? Recall the most interesting and shocking plot points of the comic. Meet the creators who worked on Spider-Man's adventures throughout the years. Illustrated with images from comics, movies, and other Spider-Man related items, this collection is a must-have for any fan of the web slinger. Spider-Man: A History and Celebration of the Web Slinger, Decade by Decade, will be released on September 6th. Are you looking forward to this book? I'm sure there are some people who are looking forward to this book. I don't know. I probably have to look at it and go through the pages before I decide whether or not I pick this up or not. And that's just how I am, especially, with the fact that I'm running out of shelf space for books and stuff like that. So, for anyone who's interested in it, go at it. Have fun. Nice addition to your collection. And for anyone else, well, it's all completely up to you, is what I'm trying to say. On what you want to buy and what you don't want to buy. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next story here. And gonna go ahead and share this story. And this story comes from comicbook.com. And it's news concerning Breath of the Wild, at least the sequel. And this article is by Logan Moore. It was posted yesterday on comicbook.com. It says The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 delayed. It goes on to say Nintendo has confirmed that the highly anticipated sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has now been delayed. Originally slated to release in 2022, Nintendo released a new video today announcing that the title would instead be pushed into the early portion of 2023. And while this news is surely upsetting to a number of fans, Nintendo did happen to show off some new footage from the title as a way of tiding people over. In a message given by Nintendo's LG Anuma, yeah. All right, that's a tongue twister. It said that the company needs a bit more time to work on the project. We previously announced that we were aiming for a 2022 release for this game. However, we have decided to extend our development time a bit and change the release to spring 2023. For those of you who have been looking forward to a release this year, we apologize. And Cash, you're saying you were backstage, yet I never got anything looking at backstage. I never got the pop in sound. I will post the link again. And I never saw anyone else in the backstage area. So I don't know what to tell you, brother. Okay, it goes on to say after announcing this delay, Anuma proceeded to talk more about what The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will have in store. In doing so, gameplay footage that was first unveiled last summer. There we go. Now we got something, Cash.
It was just funny. I was like, well, it's over. So
No, I'm not going to ignore you. I'm not going to ignore anybody who pops in the backstage area. Like I said, nothing showed up backstage. I didn't hear the little pop sound to let me know that anybody was backstage.
It wasn't my fault. So.
It's StreamYards, dude. So
it's just funny. Anyways, continue.
I will. After announcing the delay, Anuma proceeded to talk more about what The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will have in store. In doing so, gameplay footage that was first unveiled last summer was shown off again, while Anuma was speaking. In addition to showing this old footage once again, though, Nintendo gave us some brief new looks at what the sequel will have in store. It went on to say perhaps the most interesting part of this new footage shows that the Master Sword that Link wields in Breath of the Wild 2 has been deformed to some degree. The reason that the iconic weapon is deteriorating wasn't revealed by Anuma, but it will surely be an integral to Breath of the Wild 2's story. Lastly, this new footage also happens to give us a better look at Link in Breath of the Wild 2 than we have seen previously. Link now boasts much longer hair compared to what was seen in the original game, and he also has a number of tattoos that go up to his arm. Again, we don't know why this has happened, but all will surely be explained once the game's released. And how do you feel about seeing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 get delayed into next year? Is this something that you were expecting to happen before it was even announced? Well, that's my question to you, Cash. What do you think about the news?
I mean, if the game isn't ready yet, then it's fine to wait. I don't. I haven't even finished the original yet. I need to go back and do that, and I certainly have a lot of time before the second one comes out. But I just hope there's going to be less dungeons in Sona. I think the original has about 150 dungeons or something. Pretty nuts.
Well, I'm all for a company delaying any game or
Mhm.
any movie, TV show to get it right. Because there's been far too many times when they've released something and you can tell that it wasn't ready.
Nope. That's very true.
All right. There you go, Nightbot. I was trying to get Nightbot to post your link
It's all
for your
good.
channel. That's all right. It's there.
It's not a worry. It's all
Ah,
about you here, Mike. It's all about you. I'm just a peon.
cash. You're a guest on the panel. I'm going to make sure I promote your channel. And part of doing that is by posting the link, dude.
I know. I'm just giving you whatever.
I know you are.
Um,
You're busting my chops.
yes. Yes. Definitely.
Also, I want to let everybody know I am now on Gilded. I just opened up the server today, so it still has a long way to go before it's officially ready. But if you want to join me on Gilded instead of Discord, you're more than welcome.
Gilded. Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that an alternative to Discord?
It's an alternative to Discord, and I was just looking for an alternative because it seemed like every time I go into a voice chat when I'm playing a game, especially when I get into a loading screen, that's when people can't hear me. I cut out or I robot. So I'm just looking for an alternative, and hopefully it works and people will actually be able to hear me regardless of what screen I'm in.
Might want to just check some settings or something. Might fix the problem.
I have. I've gone over settings over and over and over again. I've even changed settings on my processor too for different programs, and
Weird.
It's weird. It's frustrating.
Definitely, I'm sure that. Yep, I'm sure that would be frustrating for sure.
It is. I mean, especially when I've had times where I've been playing Star Trek Online with Spock, and I get to a loading screen or I get to a part of the game where he should still be able to hear me, and then all of a sudden my voice starts crackling out. So I'm just looking for an alternative. Maybe it's going to work better. Maybe it's going to work about the same. Still trying to grow the Discord. But always looking for an alternative. Even on social media, I'm always looking for a different platform to, just spread the news of the channel and get eyes on the channel with people who like what they see. That's all well and good. If they don't, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I actually hope Elon Musk buys Twitter. I think that would be great, personally. I don't know if you heard about that.
I'd seen a blurb
There's
about that
rumors.
the other day.
There's rumors. And I was like, I really actually hope that happens. I want to watch a lot of people's heads spin. That'd be awesome.
And I want to say hello to Gap Stargate. Welcome. Yeah, a lot of people's heads would spin if Elon Musk buys Twitter. and I could also see a mass exodus too.
Oh, well. Too bad.
I just use it to promote my channel and other people's channels when I'm watching their channels.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
ooh.
Stay safe,
Stay
Stargate. Yeah.
I've never been in that type of situation, but I've heard from people who have, and they've told me you don't ever want to be in that situation. All right, so I have this article here regarding Ezra Miller getting arrested at a karaoke bar in Hawaii. Dude, it's karaoke. Just get up on stage, have fun, sing, then get off stage. And this article is by Blair Marnell. It says the Flash star Ezra Miller arrested at a karaoke bar in Hawaii. 2022 was supposed to be a good year for Ezra Miller. His next film, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, is out next month, and The Flash was set to arrive in November. However, The Flash was pushed to next year, and now Miller is in legal trouble again. Via Hawaii News Now, Miller was arrested on Sunday, March 28th, at a karaoke bar in Hawaii. According to the report, Miller was charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. The 29-year-old was allegedly yelling obscenities and became agitated when people began singing karaoke. At one point, police say Miller grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman who was mid-song. The police also noted that Miller later lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. Miller was subsequently released on $500 bill. This is far from Miller's first brush with controversy. Miller was arrested on drug possession and disorderly conduct charges in 2011. In 2020, Miller was recorded outside of a bar in Iceland while choking a woman before throwing her to the ground. Now the question is whether Miller will face any career fallout for his latest arrest. Even though The Flash won't be out until June 2023, it's very likely that Warner Brothers would remove Miller from his own film, but potentially this could make other studios reluctant to give Miller leading roles. Other movie stars have certainly had their own legal problems and rarely faced lasting adverse effects. It remains to be seen if Miller will escape the consequences as well. Well, he comes across as being a hothead. And he's never been put under any sort of supervision, it would seem, with the way he acts. You just don't go into a bar and, start fights with people. You just don't. They're there to have fun. You're there to have fun. Let them have fun. But I don't know. What do you think, Cash?
Sounds like a great, upstanding citizen. I would love to shake his hand.
Oh, gosh. That's right, kid. He's a role model. I don't really mean that.
Oh, it's like some other people said. I guess he has problems holding his liquor, but he's not the first person to have caused problems or has issues with being a celebrity or whatever. I don't even really know much about the guy personally. Uh, just I know he's going to be in the Flash, and I don't know what he was in before this or before the Flash, or going to be in the upcoming Fantastic Beast third movie. So I
The
guess
only
you
thing
said he
I
was
ever
in the
saw,
second one. Yeah,
yeah, the only thing I ever saw him in was Justice League, and I thought he was one of the more annoying parts of it. To be
yeah, that's
perfectly
right. He was in
honest.
that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he should just run around in the Flash suit harassing people.
Ah.
I can't. How can you not make fun of these people, Mike? I mean, seriously, it's
You
just
have to. You have to. It's ludicrous. I
it's
mean,
so easy. It's just these. It's just too easy. And when people get upset about you making fun of these people, you just don't understand. This guy seems like a piece of garbage. He really does. He needs to get his act together. I know he's only like 29, but 29. Excuse me. What excuse do we need to pull on him on some of these actors? I mean, we've had these actors do things before. They get involved with drugs. They cause problems. Some of them uh, they hit people. They cause assault. I don't know. There was I remember, what was it, years ago? I think Russell Crowe in a hotel room threw a phone. I just
yeah. I
and
mean,
I don't know why. I guess the phone did something to him. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I guess it was the wrong number. All right. All right. I'll see myself out.
Uh, like that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Remember a few years back there was Christian Bale. He was yelling at the lighting guy, and that was on
Hmm.
camera. And I remember, actually, maybe it's been more than a few years now. And I remember listening to the call. I think it was on YouTube and stuff. As a local radio station that I know of, and he apologized on there. It was like, well, it was weird. And then of course they made fun of him on Family Guy for that. That was quite hilarious. But
That's what
uh,
Family Guy would make fun of celebrities and.
yes, yep, yes they would. Um, so yeah, it's weird. I mean, there's also a thing where Daniel Craig dressed up as a woman. So I mean, go nuts. So celebrities are they're something. They're something. Just like certain athletes, man. They,
Hmm.
some of them don't know how to handle the spotlight, and they just start getting into trouble. But this Ezra Miller guy might need some therapy or something. Might need to punch a bag. Might be good. Uh,
He needs help. That's all I'm
yeah,
gonna say. He needs help.
sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, unless
I
this
mean,
is the kind of attention he wants, which I don't think anybody wants this kind of attention. But
I don't think anybody wants this kind of attention either. But in Hollywood, there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's like I was saying about the Will Smith and Chris Rock incident.
oh yeah,
I think it was
no,
staged. The
no.
wrestling fan in me says
I
it's
know.
staged.
I know. Some people, even on other networks, have said that, and a few people, but I think it's real, and I just think it's stupid. But and then the fact that also Chris Rock apologized the other day, and I know a lot of people are like, "Why do we keep talking about this? It's stupid." It's like, yeah, but it just gives us more material to laugh at these people because it's just ridiculous. And then it's just like the way Will Smith acts and cursing at people and stuff, and it's just like, do we want to go see his movies anymore? Do we want to boycott these films? Because it's like, dude, do you? I don't know. And I guess today the Academy, it is real though, dude. The Academy is talking about it today, just so you know. I heard
Hmm.
about that earlier, so they are talking about the situation.
Or could they be talking about it because there's a lot of speculation and backlash because of what happened?
Yeah, probably, but this is from what I had read, this is the not the lowest rated Oscars, but the second lowest. So that's something to be proud
It's because nobody cares about these celebrity award shows anymore.
of. No, but they used to
You
be
know.
fun. They used to be actually entertaining. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
the awards that they're getting, it's the speeches, it's the lectures it's the lowbrow comedy. Even like Wanda Sykes, she's been very funny. When she wants to be funny, she can be very funny. I just They're just these cheap jokes, and they won't take shots at each other. I mean, except Chris Rock. He'll take shots still. I applaud the man for that. And I mean the GI Jane Jake, excuse me, joke. um, it's too easy, man. It's too easy, and I don't think Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia, that she was losing her hair and stuff. So yeah, it's
No,
just crazy.
I mean,
First Will even laughed at it. It's just something. So it goes along with this so-called Ezra Miller person. Speaking of celebrities, what's going to happen to Daisy Ridley? She's just kind of vanished lately.
yeah, she hasn't been showing up on anything.
Freaking nerd portal, I swear. Oh man, yeah.
This weekend at WrestleMania, it's the Nurporeal Life Orb versus Cash Money 007.
I'll destroy him. I don't care how old he is or young he is. Oh man. Yeah.
By the way, nerd, I saw that you were on the Brahma Bowl podcast. How did that go, brother? I couldn't watch it for very long. I was setting up for Pop Talk, but I did watch a little bit of it. I'm always looking to check out new channels and get different perspectives on things.
Yeah.
But yeah, celebrities, guess what? The world doesn't revolve around you. And I think they're having a hard time
No,
dealing with that.
they're even putting out started seeing videos now that basically the celebrity is dead, as in a lot of people just don't care about them anymore. And of course social media is also to blame, but I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. And
A
nobody
lot of
should
these
be surprised.
celebrities, I just don't really want to hear what they have to say personally. I don't follow them on Twitter. I don't follow them on Instagram. If people want to, that's great, but I'm just not interested in a lot of what they have to say, really. When they talk about these topics, they're ignorant, and they don't even talk about the whole story. So I'd rather they can talk about whatever they want, but they can keep embarrassing themselves, and I can keep laughing at them for it. It's easy.
Yeah, because they make it easy.
Yes.
I mean, I've mentioned this before and I'll continue to mention it. The only Star Trek actor I followed was William Shatner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't blame you. He's not an idiot though. So
No. And, he'll even put people in their place when they try to come up with some false news about him.
oh, I'm sure he will, yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
mess with Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Do you remember that episode of Carlton of Fresh Prince of Bel Air where he was following William Shatner around? I couldn't stop
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah. Well,
Just
Fresh Prince was a great show. And
it was a quality show, yes. It really was.
all right, I'm sure your head's gonna probably start boiling now
Oh.
because
Oh
I
good.
am gonna talk about this.
Yes.
I can tell by that laugh you're thinking, Mike, you son of a bitch.
No. It's just hard to be
No.
excited for this show, but it's like May, so it's a little while away.
I don't know. When it comes to Hollywood anymore, I
I
I
know.
think I think it's like this. Let me just find it real quick. I have a lot of video clips. Ah, here it is, right here.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Pretty much. There is still some entertainment that's enjoyable, though. I mean, we still got Spider-Man recently. We still got Dune.
Mhm.
Even though it was a remake, but that's fine. They're able to do more, so there's still some entertainment. I thought Nightmare Alley, even though it's more of a remake too, was very good. So there's been some stuff that I've been okay. Um, it's just not much. I remember in the summer it was like, oh, look at all the movies coming out now. It's like,
Mhm.
still too many remakes. There's still too many messages. Even the Batman, we couldn't escape some of the nonsense. So.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Mhm.
I saw the Top Gun Maverick trailer, and the only reason I'm not playing it tonight is because I promised Patriot when he joins me on Sunday for Pop Talk that we will cover it.
Mhm.
But I saw it and I want to see it. I'm not going to lie, I want to see it.
You want to see it? Yeah, I don't know
Yeah, I
if I
want to
have
see
any
Top Gun
interest in
Maverick.
it. Okay. I don't know if I have any interest in it though. So.
Well, that's the thing, there are some people like me who have interest in seeing it, and then
Yes.
there are people that they're thinking no interest. And let me ask you this:
Yeah.
it may not even have anything to do with it, but do you think having a sequel to the first movie come out some, you know, 30 odd years later, right now I think it's going to be 36 years later. Do you think that's too long of a time to wait for a sequel?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't have any interest in it. I just feel like with Top Gun, there never needed to be a sequel, but it's just my feeling.
Yeah, I could see your point. Because the way Top Gun ends, Maverick goes off in the sunset pretty much. It wraps it up in a
Hmm.
happy ending.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So we have this article here from Bounding into Comics, and it's by John F. Trent. It was actually posted last Thursday. I was going to get around to it on Sunday, but never did. So I am now talking about it in tonight's Pop Talk. And it says Obi-Wan Kenobi director Deborah Chow reveals that Darth Vader won't be quite as fully formed as the Vader shown in A New Hope. Well, if this takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, I wouldn't expect to see Vader as that fully formed Vader quite yet. I would expect to see him close to it, but not quite there yet. That's just my opinion without even reading the article first. All right, so the article starts off by saying, alongside making radical changes to Obi-Wan Kenobi, it also appears that Lucasfilm will be making changes to Darth Vader as well. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, Obi-Wan Kenobi director Deborah Chow discussed Darth Vader, revealing the character won't be quite as fully formed as the Darth Vader fans were introduced to in the original Star Wars film. However, before she provided some brief details about how Darth Vader will appear in the show, she discussed why she decided to include the character in the series in the first place. You're trying to get eyeballs on Disney Plus, that's why. Chow stated, honestly, to me, the starting place was that I really wanted to do something that was character based and character driven, because that is the benefit of the limited series. is that you have more time to sort of tell a real character story. And so for me, the starting place of the character is you just start and you look at who has been important to him in his life. And it's quite hard to avoid Anakin Vader in that scenario, especially coming out of Revenge of the Sith, she continued. And real quick, let me post a link to this article before I get too far ahead of myself, which I am prone to do. All right, so it continues by saying she concluded, so really came out of an evolution of the character for me. It wasn't just to sort of bring him back, it was really like who means something and where are we at this point in the timeline with Vader. Chow previously explained why she was including Vader in a teaser promo for the series on Disney Plus. We couldn't tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi without addressing Anakin or Vader. Sure, you could. You could, make mention of Darth Vader with the Inquisitors, but you don't actually have to have Darth Vader in the series. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy also told Entertainment Weekly earlier this month that the decision to include Vader in the series was talked about constantly. She explained the debate around whether we should do that or not carried on for quite some time. Everybody within our creative has strong opinions, and all our fans have strong opinions. Yeah. By the way, Boba Fett, in my opinion, sucked. So when you realize that you're under the level of scrutiny, certainly a story point like that is going to be scrutinized at a very high level. We talked about it consistently, Kennedy added. Aside from explaining her decision to include Darth Vader in the series, Chow also provided some brief details about Vader for the show. She was asked by Entertainment Weekly, what kind of Vader will we see here on the show? We only saw him for a few very quick scenes at the end of Revenge of the Sith in that armor. So where does he pick up 10 years later? She answered, for us, it's very similar to Obi-Wan in the sense that he's in between these two trilogies. So he isn't the New Hope Vader quite yet. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? Hey, Vern. You know what I mean? Sorry, it was there. What was I supposed to do, Kasha?
Oh, man. And remember, if she wasn't directing Star Wars, then I'm sure it would be sexist.
I'm sure it would. So we are with the characters sort of in the middle of this period. It is still Vader, obviously, but it's a Vader that isn't quite as fully formed as A New Hope, she elaborated. That's not a lot of information there, and I don't really know what she means when she says he isn't the New Hope Vader quite yet. To add on that, it's also unclear that what she means when she says isn't quite fully formed as A New Hope. Remember, this show is taking place a decade after the events of Revenge of the Sith and the original Star Wars trilogy, or New Hope takes place about 9 years after the events of this series are supposed to take place. I would think a decade serving under the Emperor would make you pretty fully formed as a Sith Lord. In fact, one could argue Vader was quite fully formed, whatever that actually means, at the end of Revenge of the Sith. A little after halfway through the film, Anakin disobeys Mace Windu's orders and arrives at the Senate and chooses to chop off Windu's arm due to his own selfishness and greed, stemming from his desire to want to protect Padme from the death he sees in his visions. Sorry. After chopping Windu's arm off, Darth Sidious finishes Windu off with force lightning sending him flying out the window and hurtling to his death. In the aftermath of this conflict, Anakin pledges his allegiance to Sidious and becomes his apprentice, telling him, "I will do whatever you ask. Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her." He then tells him, "I pledge my life to your teachings." In response to this, Sidious says, "The Force is strong with you. A powerful Sith you will become. Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader." Thank you, my master.
Yes.
And hello to Chaos, also known
Chaos
as
is answered.
DDOD.
Yep.
And also hello to the Padawannabe. All right, so it goes on to say Sidious' first task for Vader is to eliminate all of the Jedi at the Jedi Temple, including the murder of younglings. He then instructs him to go to Mustafar and kill Viceroy Gunray and the rest of the Separatist leaders. Do it. Do it now.
Yes.
And for anybody in the chat, since I'm doing this impression anyway.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes.
Or would you prefer to...
Like a panther.
Come on.
Like a panther. Yes?
Absolutely not.
All right, so the article continues by saying he would eventually be defeated by Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar, but his seemingly turn to the dark side was complete as he shouted out his hate for Kenobi even as he lay burning on Mustafar. Vader would then be rescued by Palpatine and surgically operated on, eventually donning the iconic black suit that Star Wars fans know so well. If there was any doubt that his turn to the dark side was not complete at this point, he's informed of Padme's death, but told that it was he that killed her. His rage is uncontrollable, even blasting the Emperor across the room. The last scene with Vader and Sidious shows the two of them on board an Imperial Star Destroyer overseeing the construction of the first Death Star. That seems to indicate a fully formed Darth Vader to me, albeit Marvel Comics has created a number of stories that take place directly following the events of Revenge of the Sith that depict him obtaining his iconic red lightsaber. It would also show his exploits as he commanded the Inquisitors to hunt down Jedi who were able to avoid Order 66. In fact, in one storyline, he also attacks and kills his own Inquisitors that were forming a relationship with each other. The series would also foreshadow Vader's own desires that are contrary to the Emperor, which ultimately culminates in his own desire to rule the galaxy himself with his son at his side, as he expresses in The Empire Strikes Back. The series shows Vader as ruthless, efficient, and deadly. Above all, he accomplishes whatever mission he is assigned and usually leaves a massive body count in his wake. All of this is supposed to happen before the time of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So, again, it's just another thing where they're just writing what they want to fit whatever story they want. And hello, Padawannabe.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight, brother?
Doing good. I'll tell you, I kind of felt for Cash there a second ago, but his contempt, I laughed out loud. I'm sorry. It's just like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yes.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
I want to
no.
hear
I'm
this.
just I've sold this to other people. I just like people that are excited about Star Wars. That's coming great. But for me, even the Kenobi series, it's more. We'll just see how it goes.
I can say I'm excited as I've been my whole life for Star Wars when they say something new is going to come up. I do. I want it to be good. We've only recently got bad stuff,
Right.
But being older, I remember they have never talked good about those Ewok, those TV Star Wars shows, the Caravan of Courage and those things. And I watched those all the time when I was a kid. Once they were on TV, I videotaped them. I remember watching those a lot as a kid. But a kid, I'm not realizing why people would say it wasn't good. It was Star Wars to me. It had the name on it, so I bought it. I bought into the whole idea. And I hope they do good. I want them to do good. I'll still watch the stuff I've got. And, at the very least, the content they're bringing out, they've brought out stuff that I'd want to buy. There's some figures and some things and stuff that I'd like to pick up and things like that. So it's not like it's dead to me at all. They just need a little bit better stuff or better visual stuff.
Well, yeah, and Disney needs to stop playing things safe. Like, if we're going to kill off main characters, kill them off, but do it in a cool way. Star Wars is not a happy story. And so Disney trying to throw their fluff when they're a bunch of hypocrites anyways, but with a lot of things, they throw their little fluff in there. It's like, no, dude, there's just so much more you can do. And even when you only have like 7 episodes, like the Book of Boo Boo, as I like to always call it, you can do so much more, and the show can be so much more violent. And really, if this show doesn't have a lot of action in it, I'm just going to be like, what are you doing? Star Wars is a big thing about Star Wars is action. I want to see freaking action in this show, so we'll see what happens. I don't
want the whole show to be, Obi-Wan looking at Luke from a distance and just walking about the sands of Tatooine. No, I don't want it to be all about that.
No, I don't either. That seems creepy anyways, with little Luke, this older man looking at him through a visor. Through binoculars, some kind of special binoculars. Hey,
there he is. Arrest him.
All right.
You get that vibe. You get that, what is it? The Blue Harvest vibe, the old man.
Oh, yes. Herbert. Yes,
Luke Skywalker.
Get your fat ass back here.
You want to rub my bantha? Oh, man.
Great. Yep.
No, I think this new series, I think it's going to be good. I don't know. I don't want it to ruin it for other people. That's my biggest thing. Is I think I'll be happy with whatever they give me unless it destroys something.
Oof.
I can't see it being worse than Book of Boba because they did the entire rewrite. We've all heard of that. We know it's been confirmed, and all that stuff. They just scrapped the entire project and kind of started it from nothing. And I would hate for it to have gone bad after they did all that. Now I really don't want it to do bad for those people that are even more excited for it, and but a lot of the things that it will ruin for some people, or they're not exactly appeased with how they're respecting the timeline. I can get that, but that, like I said, unless they do something that completely breaks it, I think I'll be pretty happy. And then it's really going to come down to how good of a show is it? Did it bring me in? Were the characters okay? Was the storyline decent? We know it's going to look good. We know Ewan McGregor is going to want to be Ewan McGregor. and we'll just see if they listen to him, you know, because they obviously didn't listen to Tim Morrison. You know, we all heard him saying, I don't even feel like I'm really doing what Boba Fett would be doing. And they're like, nope, do it all. We want you to do it all. So just the confusion there. And I've always been in the I guess my vote on Boba Fett is I really think that's the first thing we got that we saw that was really affected. That we saw we need to do this. No, we need to do this. No, I'm doing this and I won't allow you to do that. And okay, now we need to try and fix it. And it was just that series seemed like the result of what we've been hearing about since the Cara Dune fiasco. You know, it's like all the back and forth and this and that and not knowing what they're doing and changing things all around. And I think Book of Boba was just the pure result of all that for sure.
Well, yeah, there was definitely that because the Cara Dune character was going to have her own series, and that who knows how that would have turned out. But
yeah, I don't think Book of Boba I think it would have been tied into Mandalorian more if they were able to continue with their old, you know, the original plan.
Yeah, and what if for some reason in this Kenobi series, like in the future, they show Grogu and Mando? Can we make that joke again that Grogu and Mando steals the budget of Kenobi now, not just Book of Boba?
Ooh. Do you think we won't see them though? We can't, can we?
I don't know, man.
I know what you're saying, though. I hear you.
I feel like
worlds.
I feel like for some reason.
There.
I'm hoping I'm wrong about this, but I feel for some reason in this Kenobi show, they'll show a future episode and there'll be freaking Grogu again for some reason.
Yeah, I can see it happening.
I don't want to see it, and I don't want to believe it's going to happen, but it's just like this Grogu. I like Grogu. I like Grogu in The Mandalorian. I did not need to see Grogu in the Book of Boba, but whatever.
No, we didn't need 2 episodes centered around The Mandalorian.
No.
The show is called The Book of Boba Fett.
Yep. He's supposed to be like we gotta help each other. There should have been a mission where they go on together, not just saving the town or whatever. And then Boba Fett's like, you know what? I never wanted any of this anyways. Like, wow, dude, that's awesome. That's great. And the show ends. So it's just stupid decisions. I don't know. Entertainment is in a weird place in general. So
I do want to ask you guys this, because you both are going to watch Kenobi.
Yeah.
You're both kind of iffy here and there. You want it to be good. You're not sure. Is there anything with everything that we've heard, you know, is there anything that you are still looking forward to? Like, oh, I wonder if, like, I'd kind of like to see this guy, if even only for a second, you know, or is that kind of stuff, is that lost on you?
I don't know.
It's lost on me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, because like in Rogue One, a lot of people, the fan service scene where they show the 2 guys that approach Luke and Obi-Wan in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they show them there. And I kind of got a kick out of that, because it's like, oh, it kind of puts they're really close to this timeline. And if they're here, then this is just a few days later, you know, kind of thing. But a lot of people just would straight out smash a scene like that. And that, I don't know how you guys feel about that, because I like those little things like that. I look at it like a Stan Lee cameo in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, no, those are cool, man. It's just we don't know if Disney's going to do that stuff. I'm waiting to see how many characters actually apologize to each other in this series. How many episodes is it? 6 or something? 5?
I think it's 6.
It's 6, yeah. That's not. I can understand how Kenobi's broken. I get that, especially everything that's happened. But you know, I can see other characters apologize to each other, and a lot of entertainment in general, as we've talked about before, Pata, is that they don't make us care enough about these characters.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. And that's a huge problem in Star Wars as well lately. So, I mean, I did care about Fennec, but it's just the whole story. It's just like, I don't know. Just this stuff is a mess. I want to see betrayal. I want to see this, and we'll see. I don't know what this Kenobi show is going to be, but I feel like getting excited about it is just not a good idea.
I'm just waiting.
Yep.
I want it to be good. I can't say I'm not looking forward to it, but I've gotten over the being excited things a long time ago, even before all this stuff.
Yep.
Sequels coming out. Oh, it was a horrible sequel. We went through that for a decade. So I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I wait
know.
for it. Even with these Marvel movies and all that stuff,
I know.
I was taken very aback that they could keep pumping out such good movies that everybody wanted to see. I mean, that was an unprecedented role. We were at a time when it was almost impossible for a film franchise to do 3 movies. And then within 5 years, that was the expected thing of a good franchise. I missed that. What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Exactly. But
the Oscars.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Good God Almighty! He just knocked the hell out of him.
I hear people and they say like stuff like with the Avengers, like why wasn't there more women with the Avengers and stuff, and why wasn't there? I'm like, because it was somebody else's vision. That's why. How about you pop up with your own vision of all female superheroes? You can make them whiny and crying and whatever
they want
you want.
More women, I would say, hey, you need to watch X-Men then.
That's right.
X-Men was the gender equal team, and it wasn't because we need women. It was because all the women were badass.
Yes, they were. Even Jubilee was pretty cool.
But I very much looked at those comics back then like that. Like the Avengers was very much the kind of old school, all male, ultimate power, the strongest people kind of in the universe thing. And then the X-Men was the all inclusive. That was their story. We're mutants. They had the same story of like the black struggle and the gay struggle and all these things. They were the outsider minority, and some of them didn't want to be that way, and some people would accept the way they were. And so that was, to me, I looked at those very much that way back then. Like, if you want this kind of topics, you read this one. If you want these kind of topics, you read this one. If you wanted that kind of not younger audience, but Spider-Man was a younger hero than a lot of these other people. So he had different jokes, and so they were all very different comic books. And that's, I still look at it that way. Well, if that's what you're looking for, go look at the things that are already geared that way. But yeah, we're getting inundated by people who say, no, that's how everybody should look at it. And it's like, God, we're not doing equal rights.
It's not, it's somebody else's vision. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's just, it doesn't, none of it. It's so ridiculous, but yeah, I don't know. After the Book of Boba show, it's like, is Disney, Lucasfilm now afraid to do these things that we've seen in Star Wars for years? More action, more violence, just killing off main characters. Are they afraid, not having characters apologizing, being mean to men and women alike? Oh no.
Well, I think Mandalorian's doing well. I think I'm putting my money right there right now. It's like, this is where I feel is doing good. Book of Boba was an aberration. Mandalorian was there before it. I'm like, wow, this really makes me feel like they know what they're doing. And now they have a few more directors who these other people thought, it's like, okay, now our vision is expanding through people that can help us. They're kind of doing what Kathleen Kennedy did 15 years ago. Okay, let me surround myself with lesser, the peons that I can control. But they're looking for equals. They're not really looking to control people. They're just, this is the vision. Can you accept it? And are you willing to work with us? And yes, we'll take new ideas, but don't throw us a whole new project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just crazy. And they throw in these new characters and whatever they are. It's like, are we supposed to care about them? You see stuff in the trailer, and you're just like, I don't know about these Inquisitors. We don't know enough. This is still May 25th.
Yep.
So,
And
but
especially those who haven't seen
yeah.
Rebels or Clone Wars, you're even kind of more a step behind. So there's gonna be a divide again, because the people that haven't seen as much visual stuff as others, they're gonna have a very different opinion, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and now your opinions, I guess, especially on social media, if you say certain things, you get death
You're gonna get
threats.
smacked.
Gotta get some death threats. It's so ridiculous.
You said something wrong, Cash. So
I did.
I've got to read about it on Twitter.
Oh no! I open. All right, go for it.
Oh, I wanted to touch on some of these other things you guys talked about, though. That it made me laugh. That Ezra Miller, I saw that article the other day. I was like, man, can this guy just not get aggressive?
He just needs to go away. He just needs to go away.
He's just got something in him. He needs to be confrontational like that. I wanted to see these stupid movies. Can he just keep his crap together?
Yeah, I mean, well, why can't he be more like this guy?
Okay, sir, you're a Lebowski. I'm a Lebowski. That's terrific.
Well, wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Why can't he be more like the dude?
Oh,
the
dude.
More like the dude.
You can't be the dude. You either are the dude or you aren't the dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
You cannot aspire to be the dude.
The dude abides.
But I'll tell you, this... I've been able to overlook a lot of stuff over the years. I've had to have my agreements, disagreements with the OJ thing and with Michael Jackson and with George Michael and let's
What
name
did
another
George
dozen
Michael
stars.
do?
Well, George Michael just not being gay and then coming out and then kind of disappearing and then getting relevant again because he was busted in a homo situational, in a bathroom, and just that kind of stuff, and just the people making things and people doing things. It's like, keep it to yourself, and Hollywood blows it up. I just wish things could be. I want things to be like they were, in the fact that every actor and actress, producer, whatever, had a PR team, and everything had to go through the PR team first. We need that again.
I wish more people would be like that documentary I watched about the Go-Go's. They're like, yeah, we did these things. So what?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can claim it, and we have stars like that too. Yes. Fleetwood Mac, we discovered a lot of stuff when they came back out, how things really were, and Carrie Fisher was always very willing to share her background, and things like that. We have had these stars, Betty White, they've been very forthcoming with their problems, and we can go on and on and on, all the way back. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, honestly, anybody
Did
that
Betty
came out
White
of the
have
70s.
problems?
Well, no, just being in Hollywood.
Oh, in Hollywood, yeah. Okay.
And for her being as glorious as she was, she wasn't a Marilyn Monroe, but she was very attractive, and she's in Hollywood competing with all the old boys club back then. She would have been called an old broad back then because she was actually able to keep up with all them guys. There's a reason why Joan Rivers, Betty White, Joan Crawford, all these people were still able to be relevant. You know what I mean? It's those girls, those women are
they knew how to hold their own.
Another level. I
They're a
mean,
whole
they
different
can
breed.
dish it out. They can be as feminine as they want to. They could have everything they wanted to and didn't have to shove it in your face. You know,
It's
they
true.
just
It's true.
that was a whole different generation of women's empowerment. You know, and they literally, what all the women say they have to do now, those women literally were taking it from the men. But we didn't hear of all. We don't know what kind of screaming arguments and stuff they had. There was alcohol in meetings and on talk shows and clubs and everywhere. You know, it was flowing freely. So I could only imagine what we didn't hear of, you know.
Yeah.
And we hear of those kind of stories as, you know, Robert Downey Jr. growing up, Drew Barrymore growing up. And it's like, okay, now I can see how some of these families, it's all Facebook. It's the Facebook appearance. Oh, hunky dory. Everybody smiles on the outside. But if you live anywhere near these people, you know that's not who they are.
True.
You know, I just think there's a lot of problems people have. I think Will Smith's going through his junk just like anybody else. I have more respect for Chris Rock after what I saw the other day than anything, because that took some pretty big gonads. Just stand there and take it and keep continuing to converse with the guy. He was actually trying to have a conversation, you know, even though he was getting yelled at, he got embarrassed on public television, all that stuff, you know. But what I was saying before is I've gone through a lot of controversy with those stars up and down, and can you agree with what they did and what they haven't and things like that. And this one hurts.
Well, it's just like it's when Pacific brought up Bruce Willis. Like, I actually know somebody who used to go to GameStop. That GameStop sadly isn't around anymore, but his family, they worked and they built sets, and they ran into Bruce Willis, and they were working. I think he was in Expendables 3. Is that right?
Yes.
Was he in all of them? He's just in 3, right?
I think it was
He's
just
in
in the
all of
third
them,
one.
but in 3, he's actually got a working part. In the first ones, he's just taught a couple lines.
Yep. And they said that, you know, he was a jerk on set. He was, and I could see that. Sure, I'm not saying that means he deserves not to act anymore, and it sucks he has to retire. But you know, some of these people, these actors, maybe more of them, are just like, dude, these people work hard on these sets, and you know, you don't have to be a jackass.
Yeah, and I've heard enough stories that it could just be the way the person approaches it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we've all heard the story of Patrick Stewart blowing up at his cast in like the first few scenes because I can't believe you are so unprofessional. We are actors. You know, that kind of, we all know that story. So
like Tom Cruise. I mean,
but,
maybe
you know,
Tom Cruise had a point. I don't know, though. He went.
But I can just see it. You know, any given time, any given day, he could be having a bad day. I don't know if you guys remember the controversy that was going on between Kevin Smith and Bruce Willis on Cop Out. But both of them just said the other one was just the biggest pain in the ass they've ever worked with. And it's like, you can't both be the biggest pain in the ass.
Well, maybe that movie shouldn't have been made because it's not very good.
You know,
No, it isn't.
I think it's all right. You know, I would watch that movie over some other movies. If it's on, I won't turn it
much,
off.
though?
You know, well, I mean, you know, I don't know. You know, would I watch Cop Out or Book of Boba Fett? Which one would you give me more credit for?
How about you have a third choice? There's got to be a third choice in there.
Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Oh man, dude! I mean,
no, I watched Captain Marvel twice, and that was
I've seen
2 times too many.
The thing about Captain Marvel is, as I always will tell people every time, there's Coulson, which is always a really good thing to me. Coulson is a great character. There's Fury. And then there's Captain Marvel, and you can just ignore all the Captain Marvel stuff. Pay attention to the 90s references if you grew up in the 90s, which I know all of us did.
Captain Marvel's Rogue. I don't. That's
the 90s references. There could have been more.
That's the
And
only
then
thing that
Coulson
threw me
was
off
also
with the
yeah.
Miss Marvel thing was isn't she not around?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to tell you. I'll tell you when she decided to make her hair short. I was like, nope, not feeling it. Just
No.
not feeling. Some of these people, it just looks weird. It just.
Hey, I agree. I think
I know that's mean for people to hear. I don't care. It's just some of these people cannot pull off the short hair.
okay,
They
Brie
just
Larson with that A cut, that kind of shorter in the front or shorter in the back and longer in the front. It doesn't work on her. Alyssa Milano can wear that hairdo. Not everybody can wear everything. I can't do crew cuts. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
We all have our things. That's what makes us special. You just have to find what makes us shine.
Hannah, you're such a nut, dude. I love it.
I know what
dude.
makes
I love it.
me shine, talking about pop culture, playing a game or two on the channel, and also ranting about baseball.
And can y'all believe just 2 months ago we were talking about Baldwin shooting somebody?
Well, you know what? And Baldwin also said, what is it like to? I can't believe we're getting into this. What is it like for wrongfully kill somebody? Well, you know now, don't you, buddy?
Yeah.
He and I don't want to be buddies with Baldwin. The thing is, Alec Baldwin has always been a terrific actor, but
Yeah.
he he is a nutcase. And when I had a discussion with my friend about this, he was like, "Well, it's not his fault." I say he was a producer on the show, and
Yep.
the show should have been shut down. I know that's hard for certain people to hear. Should have been shut down. There was obviously problems with the set. Should have been shut down until they could either fix it or they could. And if it's not fixed, then
Make it safe.
exactly, make it safe. Oh, and also the actor should learn how to shoot a gun. I'm sorry to break it to Alec Baldwin. Sorry, not sorry, really, but learn to shoot a gun, dude, and don't point a gun at somebody, even one that's fake. And so,
You never point a gun at somebody.
No.
Honestly, yeah.
So I
Totally
mean,
agree with
seriously.
that.
So and it's like, oh, it's the armor's fault. It doesn't mean that you just automatically trust somebody. How many years have you been in the business, Alec Baldwin? Like, it's just, and so then there's these people who sit there and defend him, and it blows my mind. That interview he did was a crapshoot, but whatever. Yeah, I will never understand this stuff, Pat. I don't really understand a lot of the world we live in anymore, where we're defending people for the stupidity. Yes.
To me, I definitely think that family, and there's a few families, Baldwins, Sheens, Barrymores, I think. But like Baldwins and Sheens, to me, in particular, their families have been in the industry so long. I really don't think they know how to be anything but over the top. Like, I don't think they even understand what a normal person thinks and worries about. They've been on such a different level their entire life.
Yep. No, they have.
Like these are the people who don't know how much a gallon of milk is.
That's
kind of thing,
what? Let's I think Alec Baldwin's back on Twitter. Let's tag him and ask him how much a gallon of milk is and see if he can answer. I would do it too.
But that's always that big joke though, are you really in touch? And even if you don't know, there is a way that they should be able to relate to us. I may not know how much this is because somebody does my grocery shopping, but I do this and I know how much this costs. But you don't even get that. It's like that, like you're saying, it's the new Hollywood. Not everybody's intelligent. Not everybody's Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or Ricky Gervais. That's what I was really thinking about after this stuff.
If they are intelligent,
has been doing exactly what Chris Rock did He does it every single time he gets on the microphone at his award shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of those things,
He takes
but he
shots at a
ripped
lot
on
of people.
everybody. He
It's
was
easy,
all over
man.
the Epstein stuff. He was all over everything. And people,
It's easy. It's great.
you can hear the moans in the audience. He's like, I don't care. It's your friend. You're here.
That's right.
I don't care.
That's
You
right.
know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's
what it is.
exactly what it should be. You know, that's exactly what it should be. You know,
Yep.
if Will Smith can't handle Chris Rock, Will Smith never, I can only imagine what he would have done to Ricky Gervais.
No, they wouldn't have Ricky again. They just.
No, I know, but you know what I mean?
reason.
It's like,
Yeah.
God, if Chris Rock is someone who Will Smith respected.
Yeah.
He had him on his show way back in the day on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know? And I just, because this thing came up, because, he comes on, he's a woman. It's one of Will Smith's dates. And he comes on, he's like, okay, so which one of you is supposed to be Big Willie? You know?
Yeah.
So, and everybody gets the laugh, right?
Well, it's silly because, Chris Rock apologizes to Will. It's like, you don't have to apologize for anything, dude. Your joke that you made is fine. Don't be offended by Will Smith. I don't know. It's just stupid.
Yeah. You know, I think Chris Rock can do whatever he wants as far as apologizing. You know, I might feel like, hey, dude, I need to apologize. But whatever Chris Rock does only builds it up. Unless, even if he talks crap about him, I wouldn't hate him for that. Anything Will Smith does at this point, I can't believe it. You know, it was like the Twitter apology went out and there's hashtags all in the damn response. And it's like, what how are you not Zoom calling this dude right now?
Seriously.
Well,
how are
guys,
your people not trying to get in touch with him right now? Unless he's just denying, like, nope, I won't take their call. Nope, I will not talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys saw the Jim Carrey interview. He had a really damn good point. That event now will forever be related to Chris Rock.
Yes. Yep.
He may get more attention for it, but there's no positive, like, spin you put on that for him, other than he was a man and he stood his ground. But most people are saying, yeah, he deserved it. Yeah, Will Smith should have done that. You know, and as far as any normal person, whether charges get put on you or not, you strike somebody like that with witnesses, you're spending the night in jail.
Yes.
There is no bail. There's no, you give us this amount and you go home. You spend the night in jail, even if there's no charges. And that right there blew me away too. It's like, wow, they're not even going to say anything to him. He shouldn't have been there to accept his award. They should have been like,
I agree.
And Will Smith wins the award. Here to accept his award is his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. He should not have been allowed to stay in that building. That's the biggest, weirdest thing to me, is that no security, no nothing. That just shows me Hollywood does not think of their own as normal, because he got no normal repercussions. He got applauded. They had a party. He was singing. He was dancing, all that stuff. You know,
let me ask you guys this question real quick before
I don't
we
know.
wrap it up. What do you think Will Smith would have done if, say someone like Richard Pryor was up on stage?
I don't know. He might have done the same thing. I guess it depends how much.
If Richard Pryor was on stage, there would have been a fight.
Yeah, I don't think Richard Pryor would have allowed.
I think that's the biggest difference between if anybody else is on stage. If Dave Chappelle's, I do not see Dave Chappelle taking that without saying or doing something. I think that's why I think if another person is in Chris Rock's position, I think it becomes a fight.
Oh.
Because I sure as hell wouldn't see Richard Pryor taking that from somebody.
No, he
No.
wouldn't.
I mean,
Red
he'd
Fox wouldn't have
what?
taken it either.
He'd be 10 or 20 years older than
coming for
Will
you,
Smith at that
Elizabeth!
point. But, you know, yeah. I'm going to send you to my wife, Elizabeth. Yeah, that's the only thing I see is I think, and I give way a lot of kudos and respect to Chris Rock for what he did because that's how you do it. You take it. He took it. He was like, he took it. You know,
so funny.
So I can't say
Yeah, he did.
nothing. I wouldn't have been able to not do nothing. It would have been reaction. It would have just been pure reaction.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't have been the thought. If somebody hits me, I hit back. That's how I learned life. You know, just nobody has the right to do that or even to say anything to you. But Chris Rock, you know, it's the Oscars. Of course they're going to do that. I just what do the stars and the celebrities all say? Act like you've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say a lot of things, though. They say a lot of gobbledygook, a lot of them.
I remember when, was it Drake was getting all out of hand at the basketball games, and they used to tease him and give him crap, and they're like, act like you've been there, man. And it's like, yeah, okay, everybody needs to do that.
Well, even when
And
you
that
watch
was
the
at
playoff,
yeah, that was
playoff
like
game,
you said, like
you hear
playoff
the
game. Yeah.
announcers say, you know, these players need to act like they've been there, and there are some players, doesn't matter what sport, they're playing in the game and they're acting like they've been there many times before, even if it's their first time, because to them it's another game. That's how they're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I have no problem moving on from this crappy topic. Just
me too.
This is the first one in a long time that really hit me. It was like, God dang, man, this one really did affect me. You know, all the other ones I was okay with, but this one,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll say I'm not gonna watch this stuff for a while.
Yeah, my brothers thought about that too. Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed.
Oh well.
And
Kenobi. No.
Before I leave you all for tonight, I do want to put out an announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, it'll be the Box Score Mail Visit, as you see there on your screen. And Cash Money will be returning along with Whoopa Troopa and the Smoking Patriot, and we will be giving our thoughts and opinions on what to expect in the 2022 Major League Baseball season. I'll be giving you the perspective of a Cub fan. Cash will be giving you the perspective of a Dodger fan. Whoopa will be giving you the perspective of a Cardinals fan. So yes, a Cub and a Cardinal fan all on the same stream. And then the Smoking Patriot will be giving the perspective of a Red Sox fan, but we'll also be talking as baseball fans what we think other teams might end up doing throughout the season. So
if this was 20 years ago, I could totally come on as a Yankees fan. Just for that Red Sox New York controversy. That was a long time ago.
So I do want to thank you gentlemen for coming on. Thank you, Cash. Thank you, Padawannabe. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy you do it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. And I also want to thank members of the chat. I want to thank Chaos, aka Digital Department of Defense, GMC, Games, Movies, and Comics, of course, the Padawannabe. And I also want to thank the Nerdporeal Lifeform. And I also want to say thank you to Godzilla. Thank you very much. Gap Stargate, stay safe, brother. And of course, Cash, thank you. I also want to thank the lovely Sherry for stopping by. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank Tim's Talk for stopping by, and anyone else who ends up stopping by and watching the replay. Thank you very much. Leave all your comments down in the comment section below. If you like what you saw here on the channel, please consider giving it a subscribe. Is there anything you gentlemen would like to plug before we depart?
I don't have anything coming up other than what we're doing for the wrestling.
Yes.
And then I
That will be.
wanted to ask about Moon Knight, but I'll do that backstage.
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, I just didn't know if we were planning on doing anything like Peacemaker.
I'm gonna give it a watch, and I will get back to you on that. If I'm able to get past 15 minutes of the show, then we will do a live review of the show. If I'm not able to get past 15 minutes of the show, then we won't.
Well, I watched it twice. I watched it back to back.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good reactions. You know, it's not overwhelming. You know, everybody, blowing up the social media sphere and saying, "Oh, this is the greatest show ever." A lot of people are saying it's watchable.
I enjoyed it. You know, you can't always listen to those people. Those are the people that said Luke Skywalker is too whiny in New Hope. So. Can't always listen to those people.
You do have to make your own determinations.
But nothing else really. I just have that. And then trying to think if anything's coming up. Well, the Lego game is coming out, and I've really been thinking I might have to stream just because I know a lot of people are going to want to see what it is. So I was thinking of just getting that on Twitch just to get it out. And I am on Twitch, so I might as well just put that out. Same name, the Padawannabe _ blah, blah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get the link for that, and I will put it in before we wrap it up here.
Yeah, I just started that last week. I was like, I might as well get on there because I know there's people like watching people play games, man. I don't know. So I might as well put it together so when I play my games, I can just have it up for people.
And that's the thing I do. I play the games on the channel here, but I also multi-stream it onto Twitch. And I know once I become an affiliate on Twitch, I'm going to have to stop streaming it on both platforms and only do Twitch, and I'm fine with that. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop.
I heard something about that today
on YouTube, and
I heard something about that today. I don't know if you want me to just keep talking about it or if you want to end the stream and we can talk about it backstage.
If you want to mention it real quick, you can.
I heard I was actually on Fat Stevens' stream, and he was talking about this was one of his. There was a Twitch person, and he says what you have to do is because she was saying same problem you were saying, and she can't because I guess they own the property, but Fat Steven Seagal said they only own it for 24 hours. So then if you make a Twitch stream after the allotted time, you can make it a YouTube video.
Yeah, if I were to do that, I'd actually put it on the secondary channel I have, which all it has is some gameplay on it and some random videos. It's just really a channel where I upload stuff that I wouldn't necessarily put on the main channel here.
Yeah, well, you guys have actual content. Mine's just going to be kind of random guy stuff, just what a normal normal person does who's interested in all this junk. But yeah, you guys actually have, you have a channel and you have a content idea, and you kind of need to keep it within the parameters, more or less. See, Cash, their parameters are just bitching about stuff. So as long as they can complain about something. then
Well, I mean,
everything falls into the realm.
Well, you think my channel's like that? Is that what you're trying to say, Pata?
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. I was just
Jackass.
saying most people, once you find out what your content is, you kind of start honing in your channel. It might not be so much gaming and working out and just all this stuff. You start figuring out what people actually want to see and what you like together.
Yeah, I mean, things get
I was
negative.
just messing with you, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you are. Things get negative on there, but sometimes things are positive too.
And I can't even say it's negative because I've been one of those people my whole life. They're like, God, man, you're so negative all the time. And I was like, why? Because I don't like something. I'm not being negative. I'm not even saying anything bad about it. It's like, I don't like it. Big deal. I don't like him because of this. I don't like her because of this. I'm entitled. I'm white. I have my opinion. Accept it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah.
No, I think it's refreshing. I just feel for you guys sometimes. I'm like, man, I want you guys to have something you can just, you can grab a hold and embrace and go, oh, this is stupendous. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. And it's coming. I mean, there are some games that are coming out eventually that
it'll be there somewhere.
When we start playing them, we're going to be enjoying them. Cowabunga Collection comes to mind.
That's right. Whenever the heck that thing comes out, yes.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing the living garbage out of those games. Yeah,
I'm not sure about that because I played all the games as they came out. I don't know if I can relive all of them.
You don't have to.
I'm excited for it and I want to play it, but I just feel like if I bought it, I would not get my money's worth. I put so many quarters into those machines as a kid and so many hours.
Yeah, but here's the beauty of it. You won't have to worry about losing a quarter. Just keep pressing the button.
I just have to wait till the next system comes out and it's not backward compatible.
Not if you get it on Steam.
Oh,
play it on your computer.
I'm not sure about all these digital thingy doohicks. I don't know. I haven't come to trust digital copy yet. I've had iTunes crash several times. I've had, digital copies of games have skips in them. And it just, this thing, I don't know. I'm just not sold on it yet. I don't feel comfortable when the only copy I have is a digital copy.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable in my investment.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, ideally, I would like to have a physical copy for playing it on PC. Unfortunately, with the way it's coming out, it won't be a physical copy. It will be a digital.
They're leaning that way. Yeah, I got some flack over wanting a digital copy of the Lego game.
And, certain things I don't mind having a digital copy of, but there are things I'd rather have the physical copy. It's like movies. I'd rather have physical copies of movies.
And I'll tell you, I love when I buy a Blu-ray or DVD and I get the digital copy. I love that. I love digital copies, but when it's my only copy of something, that's what makes me not confident. I'm not confident that I will always have that. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened at some point where I lost it and I had to repurchase it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not comfortable in my investment with the digital copy. I work hard to keep my hard copy really pristine and no scratches. I keep my books in good shape, my CDs and everything. And so not having that for someone like me is like, that digital copy won't be as in good a shape as mine would be in 20 years.
Yeah.
And on that note,
On
I'm going to
that
go
note.
ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. You can catch me next in just a short while. Actually, he's live right now, so excuse me.
Oh, I forgot you
Let
were
me go
doing
ahead.
something else.
Let me go ahead and post
Bye.
his link. And Bill Barron, Mike sent you. As soon as I see it pop up, I will then fade out. Or was it fade in? As Kathleen Kennedy said.
Uh-huh.
I know, bad joke. I know. All right. Come on, Nightbot. Cooperate. That's all right. I got it here. So let me just go ahead and copy the link. And please. Oh, there it goes finally. But please subscribe to Baron Armentog and tell him I sent you. Thank you again, gentlemen, for coming on. And until next time, see you
Bye.
tomorrow.